We have to fly over to Oahu, and we are allowed 2 minutes to speak. They time us, and if we run over, they say, your 2 minutes is up, you're done. That's how much time that is.
Talks between the Hawaii State Public Charter School Commission and officials with the Ka'u Learning Academy are not going so well, as seen in this January 29th video footage.
In the meetings, this is exactly what happens. Your 2 minutes is up, and that's all we get to speak in behalf of your children in our school, and we are shut down. They will tell us, be quiet, your time is up, sit down. So I have a lot, so I
Ka'u
gave
Learning
CO.
Academy was issued a notice of prospect of revocation on November 28, 2017, after the commission reviewed an independent auditor's report. The commission says the report cited Ka'u Learning Academy for several material weaknesses and incidents of non-compliance.
Please, 1 second. This is not a controversial question. It's just you wanted some advice. I just don't understand how...
A public meeting in Discovery Harbor devolved into a shouting match before it was called off.
Why would you do this audit process and do it during the middle of a school year? Everything that you're doing, you could have done during the summer and not have all the...
We didn't do the audits.
You guys don't live here in Ka'u, and you don't know our issues. This school is actually helping people that don't have the opportunity
We need to lock the doors because the meeting is concluded. We really appreciate your time.
You guys have no idea what goes on in
Unfortunately, we're not going to continue.
Wow.
The moment was recorded by participants and posted to YouTube.
Because, you know what? This is Hawaii. If you guys don't want to treat us guys the way we want to have our kids get an education, you never tell us nothing. All you told us was all these years before. The whole thing was about the kids. Yeah? I never hear nothing about the kids from you. That's it. You know, that's why she was getting all the minutes. Because she knows what's going on with her. You know, that's sad.
Kind of leave the ground rules, as any educator does, and said, we all have our 2 minutes. I think I want to put this away.
Unacceptable as a community meeting. Unacceptable. You're the one that I didn't know it was like in there. It's a big deal.
We later spoke with school officials over the phone about the tensions between the Ka'u Learning Academy and the State Public Charter School Commission.
They're threatening to revoke our charter, to take away our charter school. So we have an annual audit that we pay for. The school, every school has an annual audit, and we hired an accountant. I've got a bookkeeper that I've hired. We're a new school. We're in our 3rd year. We're in Ka'u, and it's really hard to find people that are qualified and can do the job. So we have someone that we hired. She'd worked for a grocery store for years, and she managed their books and stuff. And I thought, well, she's got a good work ethic. She's really smart. I'll get her some CPA training, which is what we did. She managed the books really well all year. She kept up with the basic things, but she couldn't do the quarterly reports and the closing of the books, preparing for an audit. She'd never done that before. So I hired an accountant to help her with those pieces. So at the end of the school year, we hired an accountant, totally qualified. She's worked for a forensic accounting firm, and she also happens to work for another charter school. Well, the Charter Commission pushed the date of the audit up by 2 weeks, which made everybody rush, and it was just crazy trying to prepare with 2 weeks cut off. If you've ever been through an audit, you know that you can't do that, with that little bit of notice. So she rushed through some things. She finished closing the books like 2 days before the audit. I had a chance to look over her work. Actually, I saw a few errors, but they were minor. Okay, there was like the asset category. She had, our threshold is $5,000. She had $3,000 in that, and I asked her why. She said she guessed because she was in a hurry. So there were some things that needed to be adjusted. But there was an explanation so there were a few findings after the audit, but there's absolutely no fraud or theft or misappropriation or any kind of thing like that. It was just clerical errors. And so immediately when I received the audit report, I hired a CPA. This was before the commission ever even had the audit. They had not seen the audit at this point. So it wasn't in response to them. It was because it was the right thing to do as a director. I said, we need to get these things fixed. We want to tighten up our procedures, our policies, make sure everything is, is in the right place. So I contracted with a CPA, and she immediately began working with us. Within a matter of days, she had all the numbers and, everything was corrected pretty much. So the commission then got it, and they said that they considered them serious errors, and they were, everybody was shocked. After 90 minutes in executive session, secret executive session, while we all sat there and waited, they came out and they said, our time is short in the room. We're going to let you speak, but our time is short. We're going to have to get out of here. So I got up and Joe got up, and I think we spoke for 2 minutes. They cut us off, shut us down. And then they said, one of the commissioners said, we're just going to go with the decision that we made in executive session. The Board of Education can intervene, but they can only intervene once the revocation is done. If they actually revoke the charter, then the Board of Education can intervene. So what they've done, what the Attorney General said, is that it's a de facto revocation, because what they've done is they'll take it right to that level. They threatened to revoke. They sent out letters to our parents saying their whole side of the story, saying, talking about the audit findings, but never once telling our parents that we have a corrective action plan in place, that we're following that corrective action plan, that we're working with CPAs. They're not telling our parents any of that. They're painting a one-sided. It is so clearly biased and one-sided. It's criminal. How can they? I don't know how they can get away with that. So that of course causes rumors in the community, and people think, oh, we need to pull our kids out. Fortunately, it's kind of backfired on them. We've been managed. I mean, it has hurt us. We've lost people. We've lost staff, because anytime you have negative publicity like that, and we don't have a chance to defend ourselves in any real way, they have their whole website they post on. They go to the media. They, all these things. They send these letters out to our parents and people, and we never have a chance. Last night, would have been the chance to defend ourselves, and they wouldn't even allow us 5 minutes. I don't know what Joe sent you, but I've got a lot of other videos, because I videoed as people were speaking with Sione after the meeting. There was a lot of outrage in that room about the way that he treated me, the way that he treated our residents. They were there. These people took off work. They drive a long way from Ocean View and different places to be there, and they wanted their opportunity to be heard. They wanted to hear from me, the school leader, and they were totally deprived. They just totally stole that from them. It was extremely disrespectful. To our community. I'm a school leader. I'm also, the head of a state agency. I feel like I should have had my, at least they had spoken for about 22 minutes at that point. I would have been happy with 5. I didn't need 22 minutes like they took. I would have just liked to have 5, and they couldn't give me that. Even though people were shouting, give her my time, let her speak. To say the least, the community is outraged. And we can send you some more video clips where people went up to Sione after the meeting and spoke to him and said, this is ridiculous. I've never seen anything like this before. And, how you could disrespect our community. And when our children are one gentleman, which I definitely want to send you that clip. He's a very local man whose child is in our school, who's been thriving here. The child was dying in the other school, and he says this to him. But, he said, and one of the things he said to Sione, he said, the entire time you spoke for 25 minutes or 20 to 25 minutes, you never once said one word about the children.
We reached out to the Public Charter School Commission and got a written response from Executive Director Sione Thompson. Thompson stated that, quote, the commission is tasked with monitoring and ensuring that charter schools in Hawaii comply with the charter contract, which includes academic, financial, and organizational performance frameworks. The commission will hold schools accountable for their performance pursuant to the law and their charter contract.